The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying another week of the summer of 93 at 30. I'm going to steer over here to some of my PopCon Louisville 2023 live podcast stage programming. Once again, I was the host, MC, moderator, blah, blah, blah for the live podcast stage at PopCon, which I have found that no other convention seems to do something like this. So it's pretty exciting to be the person who is in charge of putting shows together up on the stage, be it myself or looking out for other podcasts to come and fill time and put it on an entertaining day for people. The first installment here of the Brandon Peters Show Live is from Friday of the convention, and this was one I was very excited for, an interview with cosplayer going by the name Mary Cosplay. I've always been at conventions and seen her work and admired it, and I reached out. I was like, can we talk about this excellence that you bring? And she was more than happy to lend her time, and I loved hearing her passion, her skill, her craft, and talking about her family life in cosplay. It's a great conversation that we had. I really enjoyed it. I hope you do too. I'm glad to now know Mary Cosplay, and I can't wait to see her and her Kasohana group at PopCon Indy here in a couple months. It's going to be pretty cool. But let me quit yammering. Let's get to this interview. I strongly suggest during, right now, or after the interview, you go follow her on Instagram at Mary Cosplay. Check out her amazing work and just be in awe. And while you're at it, also follow Kim_is_possible and Frankie with an IE _Saurus, like a dinosaur. They're part of her family/crew. They have pretty stellar cosplays as well. Trust me. So, without further ado, here's the interview with Mary Cosplay. Hello. More than one hellos. Hi. I'm Brandon Peters, host of The Brandon Peters Show, and you are accidentally or intentionally sitting for a live recording of my show, a very special one with my guest, Mary Cosplay. Hello. Thank you for coming here to talk about yourself for a bit. But let's start with what's your attire today? Let's tell everybody.
So I am an original design today that I designed and made myself. And so I am the crocodile from the Hook movie. So we have a whole booth out there. I have a booth, and Kim is Possible Cosplays there with me, and we kind of bind our booth together in a pirate kind of theme for the weekend. So our whole group is doing from characters from Hook this weekend. So I got to be the crocodile.
There you go. It's a very styling crocodile. Is
thank you.
What we got going on here. But this is not your first PopCon. This is Louisville's first PopCon, but this is not yours. How many is this for you now?
Well, I've attended several times, and then I was brought in as a guest at Indie Pop last year.
Okay.
So it's like my second con with them as a guest, but I'll be back at Indie again this year as well.
I will see you there. That's very exciting. So let's we got the costume today, but let's go back like your history. It's 7 years or more.
I guess 8 if you count like the hiatus for a while, you know.
Oh, the whole the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, where I think you said something about like you were just a mom taking your children to a convention?
Yeah. So my career before cosplay was I did daycare. You know, I started out as a teenager. I babysat everybody in the neighborhood and everything, and then once I moved out on my own, that's kind of became what I did because it was easy for me to do. And I either would go to their house when I was younger and watch their kids, or then after a while, I actually got certified through Kentucky and did daycare in my home.
Okay.
So that was what I was doing. And then when I retired from that, my kids took me to a comic convention in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because they wanted to go in costume, and I was like really nervous about it. 'Cause I'm like, what if I run into somebody I know? Am I going to be embarrassed? So give me a costume that I can put a mask on and no one will know who I am. So we went as a group of Talons from Batman New 52.
Okay.
And so I had a mask on, and she wanted to compete. Kim made her costume, and she wanted to compete. So she dragged us all up on stage, and it kind of clicked with me because we're a competitive family. Right. We like to compete. We don't do game night because somebody ends up crying. So this is the way we can actually do competitions.
Gotcha.
You know, so I was kind of like, it really spoke to me. Like, I'm like, so I can like do Halloween every month if I want to. I like this. And being competitive, I just jumped both feet in and started competing right away.
Gotcha. And you had success like immediately too, right?
Pretty close. The first couple of years, I would place in my category maybe, but then after that, I really got the hang of what makes a good competition piece. Gotcha. You know, I really understood what they're looking for and what makes it stand out, if you want to call it that, from everybody else that getting noticed. And so then I really had a lot of success. Yeah.
Yeah, like having been at many conventions with you in the past and stuff, and I take notice of your booth and stuff. I'm not a cosplayer myself, but like there's a lot more going on with yours than like they look. I mean, almost like movie set walk off ready when you see you up there. It's like, geez, like how that's intense. From makeup to the outfit, it's killer. And then original spins on things as well. Like when was your first like? I'm gonna take this and twist it. Did you start with just like mimicking costumes at first and then move to spinning, or was that original?
Yeah, the first costumes were I would replicate something. And so, like, I remember even before I did cosplay, we had, like, the big Halloween party in the neighborhood. And so much so our costumes were, like, so detailed that the neighbors quit coming because they got intimidated and didn't know what to wear to our party. So we did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
And that was way back, when the first one came out, and I had to go to the movie 10 times to get pictures and look at the costumes
Summer
and
of
things.
2003,
yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was some of the first really detailed ones we did, and I replicated what I saw. The first one that I did my original design on was my Maleficent that I took the second year I was a competitor in C2E2 at the Crown Championship.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I personally, when I was in college and stuff and I would do Halloween costumes, I would like pause every angle I could and try to get out of my closet what I could to make costumes. But I can imagine, this is even more intense than what
I mean, that's what we did. Like that first year when we were the Talons, I was wearing clothes out of my closet and a piece of craft foam that Kim made into an owl mask. So, and I had some too. I did Black Canary that I pulled from my closet. So we started out doing some of that too. Gotcha.
Where do you prefer to get materials from nowadays for like your outfits? Is there...
Oh, wow. Nowadays, I get them from a lot of different places. I really miss Hancock fabrics because they always had really unique fabrics, like something you wouldn't normally see. And that's what I look for. That's kind of what I'm known for, is those details and mixing textures and textiles. So I don't like just a plain piece of fabric. I like the interest to be involved there. So I will find some things at Joann Fabrics, but a lot of times now I have to buy it online. Or every time we go to Dragon Con every year, and that's in Atlanta, and there's this fantastic warehouse store called Fine Fabrics.
Okay.
So we go and we like save room in the car, and we bring home like a garbage bag full of fabric, because it's also a little bit cheaper there than it would be to buy the same kind of thing online.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was going to ask him, like, do you like online or in-store better with your purchases? Or
I like the in-store because I want to see how the fabric drapes. I want to feel how thick it is. I want to actually look at it.
Right.
So I much prefer that. And it's immediate. Like if you order online, you got to order swatches, and you got to wait for those to come in, and are they the right color? Is it not the right kind of fabric? And then you got to start over. You can't make a costume in a month if you have to order your fabrics online.
Gotcha. Aside from like accessories and props, are you good at making those as well when it's like not like clothing related, or?
Yeah, needlework is definitely my best skill, but I am kind of a jack of all trades in things. And I've taught myself, and I've chosen to challenge myself to learn a lot of those because I judge a lot of competitions.
Right.
So I have to be well-rounded. So I know how to do finish work on 3D printing, and I know how to work with wood. I know how to work with foam. I do leather craft, so if you ever see any leather things on my costume, I've made that myself. So
that's why I was wondering, like, there's a lot of detail, and it's, are there any cheats anywhere in there or anything like that? But 100%?
I mean, it depends. Sometimes, if it's not a competition piece, I don't have a problem. So, for example, I also do things for character companies or volunteer for events like to have characters at a ball game. So I'll actually buy those cosplays.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, no.
I just like the challenge of making one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have no interest in making those Marvel suits at all. So I will buy those.
But yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, is there, like you said, sewing immediately? You nailed it there. What skill do you think you've improved on most since starting with all these? Is there a skill that you were lacking at all?
I probably improved the most on my foam work.
Okay.
One of the very first costumes that I made, probably the second one, was Earth 2 Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
And so it's an armored Wonder Woman, and I made that all out of those little, 12 by 18 sheets of foam that you get at Hobby Lobby and Mod Podge.
Okay.
Because that's what we knew at the time. It has since retired because it didn't hold up, because it's not the best finishes to keep it, supple over time. It kind of dried up and got brittle. But so that was my first time working with foam and learning how you can heat form it and all that. And so since then, I made the triple barrel muskets for Misfortune that I'm going to be wearing tomorrow.
Oh,
and I made those out of foam. And so I got a lot better. Plus, it helps, too, now that foam is such a big thing out there now you don't have to take a square piece of foam that you cut and round it on your belt sander to get a half round.
There you go,
Now you can just go buy them. So that helps you look better when you're using those kind of things, too.
Right. And I have so I have this, like, two-part, kind of like reflective question that I'm interested in. I was asked, so is there a cosplay that you like worked so hard on, you were so happy about, that just didn't get the reaction you were wanting from? You're like, oh, I'm going to kill in this is great, put all your time, and then it just either didn't place in a competition you wanted, you didn't get as many pictures with people as you thought you might. Is there any one where you were like just so behind it, and then just the result was like, oh, well, all right?
Interestingly enough, up to a certain point, yes. My pirate Poison Ivy.
Okay.
So that was another original design where I took Poison Ivy and made her a pirate, like she just walked off a pirate ship. And I was so excited for this one. It didn't get much following on my social media, and I made it for competition. And the first time I entered it was in an online competition, because I made this during the COVID hiatus. And so it got just a judge's award there.
Okay.
So that's not too bad, but I was like, because I did 4 months worth of work in this costume, right? And so, but I'm like, but they didn't see it in person.
Yeah.
It was an online competition. So then I took it to somewhere, I don't even remember where else I took it, and I only placed second in my category. And it's like, this costume has so many different skill sets used in it. It has the sewing, it has hand embroidery, it has hand beading, it has leather work. Like, I made and I sculpted and resin cast over 100 buttons. There was just so much going into this costume that I couldn't understand. As every time that I would go to compete in it, some really, really beautiful, well-deserving ball gown would also be there, and they would beat me, And so it was I understood then finally that maybe it's that it doesn't have the wow factor.
Yeah.
So remember I said I kind of honed in on what kind of things you need. And so I think that one, even though I thought it had it, didn't always have quite the wow factor for competition.
Okay.
But then I entered it in C2E2 because I didn't have anything else that had enough to it to enter that. This is an invitational competition. And so if they like your stuff, they'll choose you, and then you go compete. And then it finally got some acclaim. It won the needlework category there. And this is a really big competition, so that was a really big win for that costume. So I was finally happy. But yeah, up to a certain point, I was like, but.
Yeah. And then, okay, the other side of the coin, is there one that you kind of were like, this'll do, and it got a huge reaction where you were like, I didn't really put as much work into that one, or I didn't think it was that good myself, but...
Maybe not in competition, but I have one that I purchased that's Flo from Progressive.
Right, okay, yes, I have seen you in that one.
And I have really underestimated how popular Flo is. I wore this like twice, like once at Dragon Con and once at C2E2.
One of the most comfortable ones?
Oh, it is. It is. It's great. But yeah, it's really funny because I can't tell you how many times that I've never been able to convince certain people that I am actually not her.
Oh, wow, that's good.
In that costume. Like she would be sitting in the middle of Chick-fil-A in downtown Atlanta all by herself in her Flo costume.
Well, you never know. Some people are in weird spots. I know like there was a story about like Judy Greer being, I think here in Kentucky for something, went into like a donut shop or something, and they're like, that can't be her.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not hugely famous, but I'm famous enough where someone's going to second guess whether they think it's me or not.
I can understand that in like people clothes, but I was in the Flo Progressive outfit.
Yeah,
she'd be wandering around by herself in her outfit.
Between shoots, we got a new barrage of
we're doing a commercial right over here. You want to be in it?
So that's good. Do any of the conventions ever like request certain outfits of you or a theme when they contact you?
Sometimes, yeah. The one of the years that I was a guest at Cincinnati Comic Expo, we got a little inside information that he had the actor who played Theoden, Bernard Hill, was going to be a guest there. He hadn't announced it yet. But he knew he had him locked in and he was coming. And my husband looks sort of similar to him. And so he literally said, we were at the Lexington Comic and Toy Con because I was guesting there. And he messaged me and he's like, let's do drinks at the bar after the con. I'll talk to you about something. So okay, so we went. And he's like, I want you to do Theoden and Eowyn. At my con.
All right.
So we did. I spent all summer working on those two costumes, and we did. And it was really cool getting to meet him in that set of costumes.
How much time did they give you? Ample time to create those costumes, or was it like a?
It was a little bit of a push. It was kind of funny because I didn't actually get it completely done.
Okay.
Because of course I asked my husband instead of just telling him which one do you want.
Right.
Thinking I was going to make the cape and the tunic. No, he wanted the leather armor.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And he's got this huge, like, detailed battle skirt as well. And I looked into having the little plates 3D printed, but it was going to be like $65 for somebody to just design and print the two.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. So I ended up hand sculpting them out of monster clay and casting over 500 plates in resin and then hand sewing them on the skirt.
Gotcha.
But the thing is we were like up till the last minute, and so I didn't actually get that battle skirt done for the Cincy Expo because I didn't have enough of them. About 2 a.m, I realized I wasn't going to have enough to go all the way around the skirt.
Gotcha.
So I had to go find like some chainmail and just make a chainmail skirt.
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I used to watch for a little bit. I watched like Project Runway for a bit. Did you ever have those situations where like sew me in, we're just going for it, or like having to like duct tape things to make them work? How often
actually
does that
on Theoden actually.
Oh, Theoden, yeah.
Because to continue that story, I was like, okay, I'm done with this thing. I don't have any like deadline. I have to finish this. I can stop for a while, work on something else, and go back to it when I'm feeling better, right? And then there was an announcement of a competition that had like a $10,000 prize.
Okay.
So we're like, oh, guess what? We're finishing Theoden in 2 weeks.
Yes, we are.
And we get there, and I'm cinching the belt that holds all his like sword and stuff on him, and I pulled too hard, and the jump rings all went bling everywhere.
Ding, 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 ding,
And we're in the parking garage, and I don't have any more jump rings. Yeah, so I literally had to get out. Like, I have a kit that I bring with like cosplay repair stuff.
Emergency repair.
Yeah. And so we had like some like jute twine in there.
Okay.
And so I literally had to tie his harness, if you call it that, back on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, don't show that side to the judges.
There was some material, I think it was in Wolfgar's box one year with something to do with, I don't know, some tech thing that they needed a specific solution or something, and we're like, get one of the cosplayers, they have to have it in their box or something, and so we had to, so Cosplay Emergency is helping more than just costumes.
Yeah, string. Always have string, because you never know. String and super glue and safety pins. If I don't go anywhere with anything but that, you know, those were the three things that I would bring.
Gotcha. When was, in competitions and stuff, when was a time where something clicked or felt good, to, like you were like, I can continue with this. Like you were assured of what you were doing, or it clicked that, all right, we're really good at this, from other people. I know you're good at it, but...
Yeah, I have a good story for that.
All right.
It was before I was guesting at Lexington Comic and Toy Con. I competed there several years.
Okay.
And I made Duchess Satine from the Clone Wars Star Wars.
Right, yes.
Yeah. And then when we got to the competition, we realized that one of the judges was Yaya Han. I was really, really, really intimidated because I had just watched that show that she was on, and I know how good she is and everything, and I was like scared to death, right?
Right.
But this costume was one of those ones that did have the it factor. It got noticed when I was walking around the con floor, so I felt okay, you know, competing in it, but I didn't have any expectations, and I ended up tying for second place out of 150 contestants.
Nice.
And so the next day, I went to her booth and thanked her, and I said, that had to have been really hard. I said, I don't know how you narrowed down 150 contestants for prize placements 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That was all they gave, was 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
And she cheated. She tied for second so she could give out 2. You know, and so we got in a conversation about it, and she's like, yeah, I've been talking to the con owner, and I want to help him revamp his competition so that there can be more opportunities for people to win something. But I need somebody local that can help him. Would you be interested in?
There you go.
And I'm like, I was scared to death, and I'm like, sure.
Me given power? You know? Sure.
Well, yeah, and that's a huge thing, because Lexington was huge.
Right, yeah, that's
at the time. Like, yeah, it was big, and so 150 contestants. This was the biggest contest I'd been in at that point.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to help run it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to turn that opportunity down.
No.
And she's like, well, I'm about to be busy season, but email me. Well, I emailed her 3 times.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try. And she finally emailed me back and said, yes, we definitely want you. And she came back that year and guested again and helped us with that first year of revamping it. And then after that, it's kind of been my job the day of to run it.
Gotcha.
And so, you know, when I got noticed for that particular costume by Yaya Han, that was when I think I'm good at this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you when you're on the judging side of things, what do you bring to the table, or what have you tried to influence with having control or looking at certain aspects? What have you brought to the table with that?
There's been an interesting shift in the years that I've been cosplaying. When I first started, part of the trick of learning how to be successful is to pick the right competition as well. There was a lot of competitions that didn't have any kind of pre-judging. You just walk across stage and they pick what they like.
Gotcha.
Then it started shifting towards, these are craftsmanship competitions, which means they need to know what work you put into your costume.
Right.
They want to see it up close. They're going to judge you on how well did you put this together. You know, how good is your construction? How many different skill sets have you put into it? And so once that shift happened, then it became an easier way for me to get incorporated into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's excellent. You excited about this one here? Is that tomorrow?
I am.
Is that
I
tomorrow?
am, because they have an online sign-up, so I've seen the
You can go snooping around
names
on
of the
their pages and
cosplays.
stuff. And
Well,
like,
yeah, we have to fix the online a little bit because they're mistaking what we want as show us your work with just pictures of the costume, like reference pictures.
Okay.
So we have to tweak that a little bit. But
Gotcha.
someone's getting it, and they'll give you a link to their Instagram, and you can kind of go see the progress if they're posting it.
Wherever you can save time, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
so it's exciting, yeah.
Seeing it up close, yeah, that's a whole other story up close. So something might just be taken for granted. You might see it up close and be like, oh my, that's certainly excellent. Did I ask you about your biggest nightmare situation you've had? I'm getting dark here.
Oh, well, it depends. Competition-wise, one of the times that I think it was at C2E2, I was competing with that Maleficent, and my staff had a light in it that quit working. And I didn't know why it quit.
Oh, my.
You know?
No more staff.
Luckily, my husband was there with me, and he figured out why it wasn't working and fixed it.
Why wasn't working?
Well, we retrofitted a flashlight, and however he did the battery pack on that it didn't have a way to not keep sliding down inside the pole.
Okay.
So it just got too far down in for it to turn on.
Gotcha.
So once we fixed that, we were good. Then there's a lot of C2E2 stories here because that's the biggest competition I'm in right now, C2E2.
I didn't mean to drum up multiple nightmares, but if you want to share the
that year
stuff.
I competed. I also so sometimes I will compete in a local competition, like I took Satine to Lexington, and then the Crown Championship is it's a higher level.
Okay.
So you can take something that's already won something up a level and compete again.
Okay.
So I did improvements to it, and so I was competing again in Satine, and luckily I had already been through prejudging, and then I went and sat down and had lunch, and then when I stood up, I didn't realize I was standing on the beaded tassel that I had handmade, and all the beads went all over the place. So I had to try and hand sew that all back together before I went across stage. Yeah, in front of a worldwide competition. Like, don't look at that tassel because it looks wonky now.
No tasseling.
Yeah.
Tassel. So also one thing I like about you is you have like a crew, like the Kasahana.
Yeah.
Did I say it right? I said it right. Okay. What's that stand for? And then who was your crew? Then how did that form?
So it stands for, Ohana means family, and the cause is for cosplay. So it's like
there we go. Okay.
Cosplayers. But it's not all just family members. We have a lot of friends that we all just kind of click together, met at cons and things. And so we'll do groups a lot. You know, like I have my booth here, and Kim has her booth. We just combined it and made one mega booth.
There you go.
And we do a lot of group cosplays because they're fun. So that's how we get to bring them all in, and they're helping me run the contest.
Oh, awesome. Good to see. Is there any certain cosplayers that you've personally been inspired by?
Definitely Yaya.
Yaya?
For sure.
Okay.
But there's a lot. There's so many good ones out there now. I don't even think I'd name them all. Some of the ones that inspire me the most are the ones that do the things that I can't do as well. Like some of the really big foam smithing, if that's what you call it, ones, like Kimpatsu Cosplay. She does foam work and wig work, and it's just beautiful. Kamui Cosplay, she does a lot of stuff with Warbler and now foam. Trying to think. But there's even some local ones, like Jedi Amanda and Philip O'Dango both live here in Louisville.
Okay.
And, they inspire me with, because Jedi Amanda was one of the first cosplayers who was a guest that I ever met.
Okay.
She used to judge me in competitions, and then I worked with her judging together. And so it's been fun to watch her journey, and it inspires you to know that you could probably do that too.
Gotcha. Is there any that you have seen come up and been really proud to see improve over the years? That
Casey Renee Cosplay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I competed with her at C2E2 the very first year I was there, and I placed in my Satine, and she had a really pretty Anne Boleyn, but she didn't place. Okay. But now, since then, she's won TwitchCon, and she was actually one of the judges at C2E2 last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So she's kind of skyrocketed since she won TwitchCon.
Gotcha. I had last year on the podcast stage had Alice and Tabitha join me up here, and I didn't really know much about her, but she is like a goddess to like every single, like I've just crazy to watch her float around and all these people.
Yeah, her skill in transforming
And she just like
herself
that
into every
jumped
single
up.
character, and she looks exactly like that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, she definitely amazes me. And I got to meet her, and we went out to dinner at Indie Pop.
Okay.
And
yeah.
so she is the nicest person.
Yeah, like
She is so genuine.
Someone with that big a following might know it. I don't think she realizes it too, but
Yeah.
that's good. Or it's just
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, we had a Star Wars theme there. So I was in Illuminora, so I had like green face paint on, and Kim was in Ahsoka, so she had her makeup on. And Allison actually asked me how I did my makeup because it looked so good. So you want to talk about that's like I'll take that like for the rest of my life and remember that.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. You guys, your Star Wars stuff is like awesome because you do the Fennec Shan too. That's really really like looks like legit. It's pretty awesome there. Speaking of all your costumes, do you have like a throne room in your home, like Batman, where he's got all the different bat suits over the years? Do you have like a room with like mannequins and like all of them on
If
there?
I had a big enough space, I would. But usually what happens is the one I'm working on is the one that's taking up a mannequin, and then some that are in process are on the other mannequins. It depends. Sometimes I'll just leave one up that I really like for a while, like when I made the Descendants Maleficent.
Okay.
I just love that costume, and so I think that one lived on my mannequin for about 6 months.
It's Wednesday. I'll put this on and go walk around. Yeah. do you ever like cosplay and stuff to like go to like see the movie, go to the movies, or anything other than like, well, probably parades and certain festivals, but like movies or like regular? Yeah,
we have. Sometimes we'll contact the theater and say, hey, you want some Star Wars people to come and just hang out while the people are coming to the movies?
Yeah.
And they'll let us do that. We did that for some of the Marvel movies as well.
Okay. Awesome. That's good deal. No budget, no limit, ideal cosplay. Just you could you have it. And your own design.
Wow. Well, Kim and I both kind of had the same one. It's the Christine, the Broadway version. The song they're first singing when their costumes aren't even finished yet, when they're coming onto the stage and everything. I can't remember the name of the song, but like one of those, either that costume or her the one she wears to the ball when he takes her down through the floor, that costume, like Phantom of the Opera. Those two costumes have been on my wish list for quite a while.
There you go. Well, I hope to see them someday.
I'm going to let Kim do the other one, though, because she's already got stuff for it. So
I don't want to top her.
We tend to gravitate toward the same costumes a lot and have to negotiate a little bit.
You ever like show up head to head, be like, it's my turn.
Yeah. Because interestingly enough, Ahsoka was the one I was going to make as my first Star Wars costume.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of wanted to do Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So she's like, here, why don't you do Duchess Satine? So I'm like, well, okay. And now Ahsoka is one of the ones that she is known for. But I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to because we cast so much together, we can't both be Ahsoka at the same time. Well, now that the Tales of the Jedi came out, I did Pavti.
Okay.
So now I get to be a Togruta that's very similar. And so now I get to have my own Togruta, and she can still do Ahsoka, and we're not
Perfect, yes. So what happened when you come, let's not familial-wise, but to a con, you come to head-to-head, we're in the same costume. Like, what's that always like to you when you see someone wearing the same thing as you on the same weekend?
I think it's great, because if I love that character and somebody else loves that character, then let's enjoy that together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We've actually talked about this a lot, too, where some of the ideas we have are, we have a bunch of friends who all like to cosplay Ariel. So one of these cons, someday, we're all going to show up in our own Ariel.
Oh, that's good.
We have a whole group of like 20 Ariels.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice twists on them, different versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I always thought about doing like a bunch of for Halloween costumes, so it was like a bunch of Kurt Russells from different Kurt Russell movies. As like a group costume.
I've seen some people do Jack Sparrows like that.
There you go. Okay.
Johnny Depp, basically. All the different versions. Yeah.
People who have multiple iconic characters you could do. Sorry. Oh. Do you do a lot of in-character stuff, or is it just when the people pull up for the pictures, or do you just
I'm starting to a little bit. For me, it was much more about just wearing the costume and loving. I don't mind taking pictures. I love taking pictures. I like the attention. I am attention.
You wouldn't wear it if you weren't looking for or have like a photo op background for your
right. But I am in a character company now, and so I'm starting to branch into being in character a little bit more now. Okay. So I just did a birthday party with Kim. She was Cruella, and I was Maleficent.
Oh, okay.
The kid had a villain's party.
You're probably in the birthday party circuit,
it was fantastic.
aren't you?
Yeah. So, but I also, some of these companies go to what they call a fairy tale ball, where they bring all the princesses in, and they have activities and meet and greet. So I've done that as Mary Poppins.
Gotcha.
So I have to. That was fun.
I wore this specifically for you. It's normally on my laptop bag, but I was like, I'm gonna wear it today.
Yes.
For her.
So yeah, I had to learn how to talk in an English accent for that. So that was fun.
So did Dick Van Dyke. When he
and mine's as bad as his. So.
So that's excellent. Cool. And your fandoms that you like to do. We've talked about Star Wars a lot and Disney stuff. Like those come from growing up. Have you picked up any new ones along the way since cosplaying?
Anime. I'm starting to do some anime things as well. I hadn't really been exposed to anime a whole lot, but now I've got a lot of friends that are like, oh, you need to watch this, you need to watch that. And so I've been starting to watch some of them. Also because I'm guesting at some anime cons. And so I feel like I should be in an anime costume. So I want to watch it and see what characters I like and that.
Does makeup or anything change with anime in a certain way? Because trying to look like a cartoon, a specific cartoon face? Or?
I mean, some people do. I'm not that good at that kind of makeup, so I don't try and change my eyes that much like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but some people do.
Excellent. Awesome. So anything else you want to promote, talk about while we're up here?
Wow. I mean, well, I'll be at AnimeCon next weekend.
AnimeCon next weekend.
Yeah,
okay.
Anime Ohio in Sharonville.
Awesome.
So I'll be guesting there and running their contest as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm a movie person. Any summer movies you're looking forward to have already seen this summer?
Oh, we just saw the new Little Mermaid this week.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah, and I actually really, really loved what they did with that.
That's some interesting stuff. I thought Flounder was a bit scary, but...
You know, he looked scarier in pictures than he did in the show.
Yeah, I saw some.
The pictures were really scary.
So I was listening to someone talk about it, and they said he was like a jump scare every time he showed up on the screen. I was like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think they could have done Flounder a little better, but the rest of it, I really enjoyed everything that they did.
I'm on the side that liked the Scuttlebutt song.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people did not like it, but I'm like, you know what, that's some energy that could have been thrown in here that I appreciated. So
yeah.
I was good with the Aquafina. So great. So I'm going to, if anyone out there wants to ask her a question, now's your time. Is there anybody? Did you want to ask? No? It's okay. I'm turning to questions, but okay. If no one has any questions, you can find her at her booth, too, if you don't want to be on a microphone. There's always that, too.
Yeah.
So what's your booth number? Do you have a number? Or just, it's down at the
literally right inside the door.
Right inside the door.
Yeah, look for all the pirate stuff. That's where we're at. Right across from where the cosplay area for the judging will be for the contest. So.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming up, taking your time here. It was wonderful talking to you, so thank you. Mary Cosplay. For everybody. Yes, thank you. Whether you were here the whole time or not, I appreciate that. All right. The stage will resume back at 5. So thank you. This has been the Brandon Peters Show.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.